Soul Food Book Club, a special edition, because we have a special lady with us and we'll be introducing her right after the music. Please take time to share this out for us. We would love for you to do that.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Yes, yes. Even if the sky is falling down, we're going to stay in that high vibration. I love that song. And I love Anayah Joy Holilly, who is joining us today from Australia to talk about her book, The Angel Code. Anybody have the book? Let's see them. There we go. Yay, yay, yay. Look at you, beautiful lady. I am so excited for you with this book. I'm excited for us that we are reading the book and talking about it, holding conversation about it. And we just wanted to have you on here to just kind of get your take on how this all came to be and whatever questions our group wants to ask. We are the Soul Food Book Club. Anyone that's joining us for the first time can go to that group on Facebook, and you'll find where we read really beautiful, miraculous books. And they've all been enlightening. They've all been joyful. Our book club members that are here with us tonight are Charlie Coons and Erica Hoppy in New York, Christina Leftwich in Michigan, Jean Lorio in Texas, Mary Lou in Massachusetts.
Hi.
Linda Lemieux in Florida.
Hello.
And Grace Isis in New York.
Hello.
And we have Stacy joining us from Florida and Suzanne from Pennsylvania. And right now I'm out west in Las Vegas, Nevada. So Anayah, please bless us with some really great words from you about this book. We're so excited for you and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. I will probably get quite emotional through this because it's such an incredible thing to be privileged already, to be so privileged to bring this amazing gift from the angels to the planet. And it's been such a journey. It's been a journey of terror, of sheer joy, of the depths of despair, thinking I wasn't good enough to do this. How would I manage it, etc., etc. And everybody knows that story because we've all got a story very similar, right, in one way or another. But it all started in 2001 when I was given a book and I read it, and it said I could talk to my angels and I would get replies in writing, and this is how easy it was. And I went, well, I'm going to try that. And so I did. And I actually, the first question I asked the angels that I got a response to, which you'll find in the book, of course, I was really torn at the time because I wanted to live a spiritual life. I wasn't quite sure what that meant for me. I wasn't quite sure if that was possible, and still like all the earthly things, right? Still love to have lovely things, lovely china, for example. And I felt very conflicted because how could I live a spiritual life if I appreciated those things and desired those things in my world? So I asked them, is it possible, angels, to lead a spiritual life and be a spiritual being while really valuing and appreciating earthly pleasures? So it was such a simple message that came through. It was such an incredibly simple message, as is often the case. And this was in January 2001. And they said to me, stating your needs and wants is not considered greed. You are a wonder of God, his own beloved child. Of course you should have the best. Trust in us. We are here to help you see these things as we do. All is well. And that began a journey that I had absolutely no comprehension of at the time, no idea of the sheer depth and breadth and majesty that I was stepping into. And that's how it all began. It took 20 years to publish this book. Not because I didn't want to, because I knew it wasn't time. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones. And hey, it was published 2020, November 2020. What more perfect time on the planet is there than now for this book of hope and such deep comfort from the angels to be available for us all?
I know you all have questions.
We don't dare ask him before Mary Lou.
Go, Mary Lou.
I just want to say thank you. And, you know, it's interesting that one of the first things that you shared with us tonight was that it was messages of hope and comfort. Because since the moment I opened the book, that's I told Teri about this before, that it was like a blanket of comfort was being wrapped around me. That's exactly the word that I used was comfort. And so thank you for this so much. I don't know how to explain it. I just, I've always had the presence of angels in my life. They've always been with me, with their love and their support and their guidance, and, in different ways at different times in my spiritual growth, as I allowed it or ignored it. And, I don't know, the question that I had was, did you have a diary over these 20 years and then you drew from your diary? I noticed, that when you dated them, it pretty much, I think it was started in 2001. those are the messages that you shared. But like in your diaries, I know that you must have written diaries and kept,
It was one
kept
diary.
your thoughts.
Yeah,
It
I
was
just had
one
one
diary.
book. And sorry,
Tell
Mary
me
Lou.
about that. No,
Right.
tell me about that.
I have to tell you first, and it is in the book, and I have to share this with you, Mary Lou. The angels called this book A Blanket for the Weary.
Oh, it's beautiful. I don't remember reading that. Maybe I haven't gotten
It's
to
there.
that.
It'll come up. You know what? This book is an experience. It works mysteriously. You can read it. I've been experiencing this book for 20 years.
Yes,
And
I understand.
I am
that.
now seeing things in it, Mary Lou, that I've read 1,000 times, and all of a sudden I just went deeper. I got a whole new level of understanding and vibrational code, because this book is actually, it's called the Angel Code because it is actually encoded, and the codes blend and match every individual wherever they are in their world, their life, their experience, their joy, their sorrow. And I can tell you a little bit about how I know that. But what happened was I just had the diary at the time. I just grabbed it and I wrote in it. And then I went back to it and I just asked the simple question, what would you like me to know today? And the thing was, it was so mysterious, because the thing was, Mary Lou, I thought nothing was happening because I would get these random words. And there were long periods of stillness and silence. And I'm not a still or silent person, right? But it felt so amazing that I stayed with it. And I still remember, you're going to love this. I still remember the very first time I got a message through, and I thought it was random words that had no connection and made no sense. I remember closing the diary and went, well, that's a bunch of BS. It felt amazing. So I kept going back and doing it. And it was about 3 weeks or 4 weeks before I actually read any of the messages. I could not believe, I just could not believe what I was seeing. It hadn't been in my handwriting. I would have thought, I don't know where this came from, but it isn't it isn't through me. So that's the journey so many of us take, isn't it? It's that journey of faith, that journey of trust, even if we don't understand it. It's the way we feel. It's that emotional connection when your heart is so activated, and it's like you suddenly discover you've got these amazing wings from either side of your heart, and they fly you to the most extraordinary places. And then we're in our daily life.
Say that again. Say that again. We have these beautiful wings on either side of our heart.
Yeah.
How lovely.
And it's what it's like. And it's like they literally fly me to heaven. They fly me to ecstasy. And then in my everyday life, I'm like cranky because this is not happening, or I've kicked my toe on the chair, or, but the wings are always there. And that's what I've come to understand. The rest of it is natural. It's beautiful. It's normal. It's important. Each and every experience is so important to us. And they actually address this right in the very beginning of the book. When I was transcribing, it took 7 years to transcribe the messages.
Wow.
Couldn't understand half of my writing at the time. But what? And I'd have to say to them, I really need your help here. I've got no clue what this says. And then suddenly the words would be revealed. So when I came to trying to really get these messages together, to send off to Balboa Press for my final draft of the manuscript, I could feel it wasn't finished. I could just feel it. And I was sitting right here this one day and I said to them, I can feel it, angels. There's something missing. What is it? You're going to have to really show me clearly, because I don't know what it could be. The next thing you know, I felt like going to my little cupboard where I keep my books, and it's 3 deep in the cupboard, and I'm pulling out all these books, and all of a sudden there was this one notebook, I thought, oh my God, this is it. And I opened it up and there was the last message. And I knew this brings it together. And that's how the first message in the book became the last message in the series. And apart from my gratitude list, nothing else was recorded in that diary, which I'll treasure forever. That's how it happened.
Beautiful.
It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is, everyone watching, this is what I really want you to know. I am no more privileged, no more special, no more capable, no more able than you are. Even in the depths of your despair, you are every bit as capable. I've had times in my life where I honestly didn't think I could survive. The despair was so great. The pain was so deep. But it was through my working with the angels that I learned that none of it was a problem. It was difficult and painful, but it was all important. And they said to me once, just as every petal is important to the flower, so too is every experience important to you. And I began to see, and they showed me this image of a beautiful rosebud, all tightly compacted. And little by little, you know how the petals just begin to open and you think it's more beautiful than anything could ever be. And it continues to be beautiful, even as those petals begin to fall and wither. They then feed the next lot of experience for the rose bush. And that's a big message I really want you all to take home today. You can do anything. We are no different.
Your book definitely conveys that. And I never felt at any point reading your book, do I feel like I'm not right where I'm supposed to be? And that whatever I'm feeling in that moment is all right. It's okay. I'm not supposed to be somewhere else. Or even this whole thing, I was struggling a little bit with the, ascension. We keep getting thrown into talking about going into the 5D. And it's almost like if you're not feeling like you're in the 5D, that you're slow or you're not, it's like, you're not an enlightened one. This book, I didn't get that feeling from whatsoever. It was, no, you're supposed to be. You are human. You are supposed to have this ability to travel both. And one is not better than the other. And one is not where you're supposed to be over another. You're right where you're supposed to be. And I found that to be, I'll use the word comfort as well. It was very comforting. Yeah. And I like that whole, it's for the weary traveler, the weary heart. It was very lovely. I haven't read the entire thing yet, and I'm kind of excited because I also would like to tell you that I like the simple looking. I haven't done any yet, but very easy anyways to understand sections in the back where you have just very nice areas for us to do some reflecting. And I like that you kept it simple because it is, again, it just makes sense to me that you said for the weary, because sometimes we're just too tired to do 12 pages worth of inner writings about everything that's ever hurt us in our lives or whatever, I mean, it's exhausting. And sometimes you just need that sense of support and that you're okay right where you are and don't let anybody tell you any differently. And I always have felt equal reading that, like I said, because it isn't competition, and in no way does your book, it's just, you're just where you're supposed to be. Yeah.
And you know what? I can't take any credit for what's in the book, except for the little bit I wrote at the front. I have to be really clear about that. And they showed me every step of the way exactly how it was supposed to be. And you'll notice that, the the text is quite large. And there's a couple of really important reasons for that. It's very easy on the eye. There's space everywhere, so it's easy on the eye. You might be a person who finds it difficult to read. I personally find, books that are just crammed full on the page, I just get so overwhelmed. So they said to me, you know what, this is how we want to. Some people struggle with small text as they get older or have eyesight issues. So they've really thought about so many different things. And I love how they've made sure that there's so many ways that we are supported, and even just holding the book, the color of the paper, the quality of the paper. It's wonderful, because so often books have wonderful covers, but then they curl over. So this is really nice quality. It's not going to do that. And the dates on each message, Mary Lou, are the dates I received them.
They are. Okay.
Yeah.
I wondered if, that had been a part of your process of actually publishing and planning, and if you had, chosen and, not in a discriminate, I can't think of the right word.
Yeah, I think you were right, discriminatory or something like that.
Yes,
But
yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Or if it was random, or if you, if you chose them specifically for this book, because you don't have, for instance, Charlie was telling us last week when we were discussing a little bit that, he chose a specific date. I can't remember if it was his wife's birthday or his, but a specific date. And I did that. I looked for a specific date for, like, say, my two daughters' birthdays, and you didn't have a calendar. It's not a calendar. It's random days of the year, and I wondered how that all came about,
And it's really important, Mary. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because we know that numbers are encoded as well. There are certain frequencies in numbers. So even looking at the numbers, I often will pick it up and, ask them, what do you want me to know today? And open it up. And then I'll notice what the number is. For example, right here, a date is actually referenced within the message. And the message on this one is, and it just so happens there's a little bookmark in there, because there's a lot in these messages, and it's really important that we take our time with them. And some of them, there's a couple that still make no sense to me. No sense whatsoever. Yeah, and originally I'd cut them all out. People are going to think I'm an idiot. So I chopped them all out, and it was like, okay, right, I got it. Thank you. Resistance. So this is for everyone who's in resistance at the moment. Resistance is a beautiful energy. We tend to think of it as a negative energy. It's a beautiful energy. It's a really clear signpost for us. Resistance leads only toward more tangled weaving of hurt and pain. 'Tis not always evident, nor is it easy. But know, the pathway is always just beyond your conscious realm, always available for those seeking its true course. Remember a sparrow falls? And it references a message from the 16th of February, 2001. Is this not the same thing? The bells ring for you. The light shines. Cast it toward your darker moments. Allow truth to be your true and only guide. And I love this, because what is truth? Truth is many things at many times, many things to many people. So they're not referencing, they are actually referencing a single truth, and that is we are divinely loved no matter what, fully capable, cherished, treasured beings, here by choice. But they're also referencing the fact that there is no one truth, because as we go through this journey, our concept of truth will change and grow, won't it? As we do. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, awesome.
I think maybe that's why those passages are in there that you don't quite understand, because we keep growing, and they are part of the quote story, so they need to be in there. And some people are at different places, and some people will understand them and some people won't.
Yep.
And can also be more than one meaning. So you might go back and read it in a year and it may be totally a new thing again.
Yeah. So true,
I'm glad
Linda.
you added them. Yeah, I'm glad you put them in there.
And I did read I was drawn to read a message to someone, and it was one of the ones that I thought, you know what, I was so worried that everyone's going to think I was an idiot. I mean, I really struggled with ego for quite a while. But my ego is such a great friend because it always shows me when I'm in fear, right? And so I read this particular message to this person thinking, oh, crikey. And she burst into tears. She said, oh, that's exactly, I needed that so badly. This is so relevant. This is so meaningful to me. And it's the journey of hope for me, the journey that says hope springs eternal, regardless of whether we feel hopeless or alone or lost. Hope springs eternal, and all we need to do. And I love the fact that there is no other book that I am aware of on the planet like this one. It's the same type of language, the way it's written, the way it's given, and the codes contained within shift and change for us. No, we shift and change, and then the codes mean different things to us. And okay, so can I tell you about the codes?
Yes.
So they gave me a vision of this woman. Oh, I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken to witness her. She was a woman probably in her late 30s, early 40s, and everything about her was dull and grey. And she had fair hair, and she had on a blue cardigan, a button-up cardigan, and a wool pencil skirt in grey. And it was like a muddy blue. Blue's my favourite colour, but it was a muddy blue with a lot of grey in it. And she was in a bookstore, and she found herself in an aisle that she had never visited before, couldn't understand what she was doing there, and yet found herself compelled to be there. And she then realised, she felt her hand reach out, and she was running her hand along the spines of books. And she stopped on the angel code. And she pulled it out. Oh, gosh.
Uh-oh.
You lost your sound, Anayah. We lost your sound.
What's it?
Now we heard.
Anayah, you have gotten so talented at this.
It's all good. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now she's frozen. Oh dear.
Technology is wonderful until it isn't.
She'll get it though. She'll get it though.
It works, right?
She's been doing so good at like, I've been following them and on Angel Speak or Angel Heart Radio, and she's always jumping into some new thing and learning it.
I know. Yeah. We're all like looking for her.
I know. I wish I could help.
Oh, she's gone.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I was gonna say I would have bailed out and come back in myself. Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be back. And we have Kathy Hand and Suzanne Millard and Luz.
Hi, ladies. Hi.
And Belinda Brown just joined in. Thank you all for watching. Hi. And Luz had asked what the name of the book was. Can you all hold up your book so she can see the book? It's called The Angel Code by Anayah Joy Holilly, and hopefully she will be right back and will be able to share some more with us. This has been wonderful, just hearing from her how this all came to be. That's what I love when we have the authors with us. We can get that inside scoop. And I love listening to her anyway. So
I
I'm just
know.
enjoying.
Yeah. But
And
so
she's just getting into the angel code too. I'm really hoping to come.
know.
Oh yeah, I
I
saw
know.
her feedback. I'm just
There
so
you are.
interesting.
You're on mute.
Unmute.
And there's our hope.
We can help you with that. We can help.
Well, that's right. We have you for you.
I'm here. I'm here. So that right there tells me something really important. Because we know nothing happens by mistake, right?
That's right.
Right.
So here we are, everyone. This is really important to know that sometimes what feels like a mistake or a bit of bad luck occurs, but sometimes it's a signpost that says, pay attention. Like when I dropped off everyone, were you thinking, oh, I wanted to know what she said next?
Yeah, I was getting anxious.
Right? So
Keep
it's that,
telling
it's
us.
pay attention. It's a wonderful way the universe is always supporting us and giving us help and guidance. So where did you hear me up to? What did I get up to?
The angel
The
code.
lady.
You're the lady.
The lady had just pulled the book from the shelf.
Yes,
No.
the angel pulled
Okay.
the angel code book.
Okay, so she pulled the book from the shelf and she opened it up, just like I'm doing now. And all this light, these rays of golden light started to stream out of the book. And within each ray, there were all these different musical notes. And they began to dance around her. Oh, goosebumps. And then they began to gravitate toward her. And somehow information from her came out and they slotted in together. Click. She began to accept the codes. And it was so incredible. It was like in a movie, from her feet up, color and light came up into her body. And everything about her was bright. And for the first time in so long, she knew hope. She felt hope blossom. And I didn't even understand what that meant when I had the vision. And it wasn't until speaking to a wonderful editor friend of mine, Wendy, at Wendy and Words, who said, oh, it's the code. I got the code. I could feel the code in it. Boom. So how's that? So this book is encoded, every single word, every date. And the codes fit everyone at any time.
It's the message of hope for everyone.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I would like to tell you something. And they're used to my odd comments, so but when I first started reading the book, it was like I was having a hard time understanding it. And then all of a sudden, you don't know my background, but I'm a teacher. I was an English as another language teacher. So I taught students who came from other countries. And I realized that it was kind of like them, like someone, okay, I'm going to say this badly, but someone who is not normally familiar with speaking language, telling us something, and me not having the knowledge to read another language, to understand another language. So I had to go back and start reading it with a different view to what I was reading. And then it started making sense.
Wow.
Some of it, they're still mystifying to me, but that's what it's like. They probably, and I don't know, but they don't use language our language. They don't have any use for language, but they know that we do. And so they're communicating with us in the way that they know will help us. And I was like Christina, I have to admit that that is something your book has done for me that's absolutely miraculous, because I was always like, everybody's so ahead of me. Everybody is learning so much faster than me. Everyone has so many more abilities than I have. I feel like, maybe I'm just slowing people down. Maybe I shouldn't. I can't keep up. And all of a sudden, in reading your book, I felt like I am what I am, and that's acceptable. And I also felt like time isn't important anymore, because I always felt like, okay, I got to do this because of time, and they gave me the sense that, time isn't important. And the things that are important to you that you want to accomplish, you may not accomplish them this time around, but you have all the time in the world to learn that and to be that. And that's what your book has given to me.
Oh,
thank
Jen, that is absolutely magnificent. And when you were speaking and I was watching your eyes, I could see coming out of you so much incredible beauty and peace around that. And I totally understand what you're saying, because I've always been the same. Oh, people would say, well, where's the book? Have you published? No, it's not time. Maybe you're just procrastinating. Maybe you don't feel worthy. And then I'd start to think, maybe I'm procrastinating. Maybe I don't feel worthy. What if I'm not doing it right? Okay. And then every time I'd sit down to do something, I just couldn't do it. And in the end, Jean, like you, I had to come to understand that the timing is completely irrelevant. Now, there was a time, however, when they kept saying to me, we'd like you to publish this. They showed me, they said, not one corner of the world will be left untouched. That's such a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, oh, yes, I'll definitely do that. And then, I'd go and have coffee, or, I'd watch telly or something. And then they'd come back and they have this beautiful name for me. And a lot of people will feel that name for them too. And it's Cherub. Cherub.
I
Please
love
know that it's okay if you don't want to do this. But please do know that if you don't, we will give it to someone who will. It's important that it's brought to the world. And that's when I went, holy, you know what? I'm going to have to do something about this, because I could feel it. I could feel, not that they would take it from me, but I could feel I was on the cusp of choice here. What do I want to do about this? And I realized that I really did want to face my enormous fears and feelings of unworthiness. Because in 2001, I was struggling with a lot of deep feelings of being completely inadequate, unworthy, broken, wrong, unlovable, actually. And through my journey, right, I found it, oh my God, I'm so lovable. Just exactly as I am, no matter what I am, no matter who I am, how I am, whether I'm, whatever, doesn't matter. And it's the same for all of us. So having that was an incredible experience of unadulterated hope. And then joy began to come into my world in a way that I'd never experienced before. I needed joy through other people, I needed joy through things, through people, through experience, through places. Well, I have a lot of joy going to the supermarket and I'm chatting away to myself, and sometimes I realise that people are saying, excuse me, dear. And I say, it's okay, I'm just chatting to the angels. because it's become second nature now. And I remember the day people used to say to me, I worked in a store and I was giving readings. And they used to say to me, because I was also working in the shop, right? So people who didn't know I was giving readings would say to me, what do you do, Anayah? And I used to say, you know, bit of this, bit of that, whatever. And one day they said to me, tell them. And I said to them, have you lost your minds? And they said, tell them. So I said, well, actually, I work with the angelic realms. And they'd say things like, really? Oh, so interested in that. What do you mean? What do you do? How does it work? And so we have to come out of the closet eventually, but it doesn't have to be in this lifetime. You know, like you said, Jean, it doesn't matter anymore.
When you were
And Linda?
We have a
When-
question for you
Good.
from Tammy. She wants to know if your book is on Audible.
Well, Tammy, that's a very good question. Not yet. It is going to be an audio book. I'm going to read it.
Oh,
Mm, that'd be beautiful.
Woohoo! So, Tammy, I'm so pleased you asked. Thank you so much. I don't know when that's going to occur, but now that you've asked me the question, I know the universe is going to start, and the angels, the angel code angels, are going to start bringing me information. Now, this is irrelevant in the sense that it's irrelevant, but it's relevant in the sense that such is my dedication to this book. I've spent over $25,000 bringing this book to you. And I tell you that because that, and I'm not a wealth, can't put it like that. I don't appear to be a wealthy woman at this moment. But I knew I had to do everything. I paid things like, what was the thing I paid for, angels? Oh, yeah. I paid to be, I paid for, you know how you can get it for 99 cents on Amazon? Well, that cost me $4,000 because it was Amazon in a few different places, right? And some people do it through Amazon. I understand that. But I knew I had to give you the opportunity to get it for 99 cents, right, in the ebook. And then I do things like, oh, my God, I've spent all that money. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, how am I ever going to get it back? And then a very wise person said to me, perhaps you're looking at it in a way that doesn't serve you. And I thought about that, and they said, perhaps if you reframe that and saw that you are not spending the money, you're actually giving people the opportunity. I mean, I paid for a Kirkus review that didn't understand it at all. I paid $4,000 for this review. And they basically wanted to say I keep contradicting myself all through. They didn't get it wasn't me. And yet I can't help but feel that was a good thing to do for the book.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So sometimes we just have to bloody well, oh, sorry, didn't mean to swear. We just have to darn well step up.
Bloody well isn't a swear for us.
Oh, it is for me. That's a swear word for me. So now I can see what's been holding me back with recording it is the fear of how much it's going to cost. So I'm going to go ahead and find out. And and the other big news that's happened. So I get this letter in the mail, and it's from Hay House, and it's from Reed Tracy, congratulating me on publishing my book, because Balboa Press is an arm of Hay House. So it's for baby authors. Louise Hay started it for her baby authors. So self-publishing, usually first-time authors like myself. That didn't cost $25. There's all the other things that I invested in. So I knew I wanted to go with Balboa, and I knew that cost a lot of money with Balboa and the package I wanted. And then I got an email years ago that said, this in 2015, that said, oh, our $8,000 package is just under $5,000. So, oh, I'd love to get that. And then I went down to the mailbox one day and there was $5,000 in it with a little card that said, we hope you spend this money on something that brings you joy.
Wow.
And so
Who sent
I
you
immediately,
$5,000?
$5,000.
Who sent that to you?
They would prefer me not to say. They'd rather stay anonymous, but a very kind couple who are very important in my life,
Awesome.
who I would not have expected, who don't even understand this work, right?
Matter.
And so I immediately paid Balboa Press, and that was in 2015. So the book was published in 2020. And the great thing about that is they will wait for you until you are ready, no matter how long that takes.
Absolutely.
So
How beautiful.
that was how that part of it came about. What did you want me to talk about? You were telling me something I was too busy thinking.
And
Oh,
Grace,
yeah.
Grace Isis has a question next too, after you finish your thoughts.
So thank you, Tammy. I so appreciate you asking. It is an important thing because not everybody reads, not everybody likes to read, and there's something about the messages when spoken through me. They have modulated. You'll find that when I read, I sound different because they do something. And listening, and children, you can put it on when your children are sleeping, even in the background around the house, just softly. I'm really excited to do this. Thank you, Tammy. I love you.
Grace Isis, you had a question?
Yes, hello, sweet angel Anayah, and I ask your spirit if I may call you cherub. That's what I hear. Is it all right?
Oh, I love it. I'd be honored. Thank you.
Thank you, cherub. Thank you. I have a question. You're based in Australia, and
Yes.
so how has there been a reception of the book there in Australia? And because we're here in the Western Hemisphere, we're here in America. I'm originally from Kenya, so I'm in that part of the hemisphere. And I wonder, and this would be something that would, since it's to go to all corners of the universe, how is it being received in Australia, and has it?
Beautifully, actually, everywhere. I have received so many notes, emails, messages about how the book is in people's lives. I received one the other day from a lovely girl a lovely woman, she's not a girl anymore, in Colombia, who's a very, very, she's my adopted daughter, right?
Yes.
So, because Jean, I used to host international students for the homestay, and often they would come and have no English whatsoever. And so they'd go into Brisbane and that's what they'd learn, and they needed homestay. And I specialised in the under 18s because a lot of people didn't really like, because there was a lot more responsibility and there was curfews and all those sorts of things. And I loved it. I just adored those kids, honestly. In the 4 years I did it, I had 44 students. And she came to me with no English. And the day she arrived, I had my friends here. She arrived a day early and we were sitting around eating scones, drinking tea out of China, and she felt like she'd landed in a movie set. She was so thrilled. And we bonded very, very quickly. Now, she hasn't lived in Australia for a long time, so her English is not what it was. And she's loving it, even though English is not her first language. People from all different countries, because it's not even about
Mhm.
It goes far beyond the words, right, guys?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, thank you. The message that's coming through is that through your angel codes, we are one and we are all love. Love is what is the clue. So I step back and I say, thank you, Cherub. Thank you so much for that.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And you're right, because love is the universal language. It's the truth. It's the true language, isn't it? And when we speak through love from our hearts, honestly, you can speak to someone who doesn't understand a word of what you're saying, but they'll know when you're speaking with love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you talked about it reaching different corners of the world, I had a vision of a lake. And when you have here in Florida, when it first starts to rain, the raindrops are real large and they plop and, and they bounce. So I had a picture of like ripples in a pond, each raindrop making a circle, and then they bump into each other. And pretty soon the whole pond is touched by these ripples. So I see that as, you know, your book is ripples in a pond, but just spreading around the world. But I also see kind of like a ether, or I've been seeing this, I don't know how to explain it. Teri probably knows, but anyway, spreading thoughts, hitting each other all over the world, and that water can get anywhere. So can the thoughts.
Absolutely. And I love that, Linda. Thank you. Because, you know, as we really think about it, as the rain falls to the earth, it's then reabsorbed into the atmosphere, and those clouds are going everywhere, right? So the raindrops that fall in your backyard today are going to fall in my backyard on another day.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah. Water here could have been in Egypt 100 years ago.
Exactly right. Because it's never ending. And it has no boundaries. It doesn't know anything about boundaries. It's wonderful.
And
we're
so
blessed.
it's your angel code.
Yeah, and that's right. And as we drink the water, our bodies are mostly water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's exactly what happens with the angel code. So when it first was published, I'm like looking at numbers. It's like, oh my God, I got it. And I got so caught up with it. And I thought, phooey, I'm done with it. I could see my energy getting so scattered. I don't even look anymore. I figure eventually I'm going to find out what's going on with it. But it's not up to me, and I don't want to interfere with the energy. Oh, the letter arrived from Reed Tracy, congratulating me on the angel code and the publication of it, and, you know, sort of, you know, saying just take a moment, really appreciate that, because not everybody publishes the book that they want to publish. Mm-hmm. And then he invited me to send him a copy of the book along with my personal experience of publishing and any reader feedback. So I did that, but I couldn't accept. I got it and I was like, oh, he probably writes that to everybody. And I stuck it in the china cabinet because I couldn't integrate it. I couldn't. It just took 3 days before I could get it out again and go, maybe this actually means something. So, yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. And Mary Lou said earlier that, you know, it's like the book is poetry in motion, and it says something to everyone that reads it, you know. And the one date was January 10th, of the two dates. That was my wife's birthday, who passed away. And it said, cast off your shackles, spin, turn. The planet vibrates, hum with energy. Willingness brings forth magic. Are you truly willing? Float and feel. Oh. So it's like my wife's telling me I gotta go to like a a salt cave with the water and float and feel it. So that's, it's like she sent me a message. And then there was another one, and I couldn't turn it. The page was sticking, and I couldn't get to the next page. And it was the 27th of February, 2002. And the first sentence is, turn the pages. And I'm like, it took me like 20 seconds to get to the page, and it's turn the pages. And the healing occurs for many in an instant. For time is of no significance when the healing energy is unbound. Unfurl your wings, take flight, break free. Your pathway becomes clearer to you now. You begin to see as we do. The vision is vital. You have it, use it. Illusions are useful tools. Mock them not. Allow the light to enter. It will lead you home. So, they were like the two passages that were meant for me. So it was like.
That's beautiful. And to hear you read them was just magical for me, Charlie. Thank you so much. And to experience the depth that you felt, what they were giving you, was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Thank you to all who shared with Anayah, and thank you, Anayah, for sharing with us. And we have like 2 more minutes if anyone else wants to say any words to Anayah.
I just want to say thank you, and I can't wait to see how far your wings are going to take you with this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You've come so far from self-doubt and all the stress you were going through. So you are living your code, and thank you for writing the book.
Thank you. Thank you. And I still have plenty of moments like that, I can tell you. It doesn't end. It's the journey.
That's what makes us human.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for being
Thank you.
thank you for being such a great beacon, and for letting your light shine, and for just carrying every person who reads your book on your wing, because you have your wings. And for that, we say thank you, and thank you. How gracious to take up that mantle and come and shine your light and show us all the way home. Thank you.
And thank you for the comforting blanket that you put across my shoulders. And you wrote serenade as you would whisper the words, gently, gently, like the flutter of wings. So is the beating of hearts. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that part of your heart and your mind and your soul with us. Thank you.
Oh, it's such a brilliant pleasure. And I didn't write those words. It's all from the angels.
I know
Every
it's
word
from
in
the
this book.
and thank God that you listened to those angels and let them come through you, because that the angels need us. They need us to be their messengers. Thanks.
Yeah. They really do. It's so important, everyone, to remember your magnificence.
Beautiful. And I just want to read some comments from our virtual audience. Luz Orsini is with us, and she says, wow, I can hear this lady read the book to me. I love the way she talks about the book, and I can't wait to get it. Absolutely. And Kathy says, I am just so happy I had the chance to meet you, and you agreed to join us here. And we're all very grateful for that. Thank you for this time with you, Anayah. It has been absolutely beautiful, as are you. And I would love to schedule another time for you to come back once we have gotten more into the book. And I'm sure there will be more comments and more experiences that we have had after having gotten into it and answered those questions in the back of the book and really experienced the whole thing. I'd love to have you back with us again.
It's been majestic today. Absolutely majestic being with you all. feeling you all and appreciating you and your contribution to the planet and to my world and to the angel code, because as you experience this, you are actually putting a contribution into it. It's a two-way street. And I want to thank everyone for your comments and your support and your love. And I would love to come back, like love, 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 love.
Much love. I would love for everyone to hold your book up. And those of you who do not have the book or haven't heard of the book, it's called The Angel Code by Anayah Joy Holilly. And you can find it on Amazon. So please go get it. I know that it's on there in the printed version as well as the Kindle version, because I have to get the Kindle version right now of everything with my travels. So I do have it in that form, and I just encourage everyone to go get it and support this beautiful, beautiful angel, this cherub who has blessed us today with love. Thank you. Thank you, Anayah. Thank you to everyone who was here. I wish we had more time to spend with you, but we have some chanting to do tonight.
Already on it.
Thank you, Teri, for this platform and for
Yes.
inviting Anayah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank
Yes.
you. Bless you.
Bless
We're
you.
going to
Thank
get off
you,
from
everyone.
here and go chant.
Stepping
And
up and doing
say
this
to
for us.
every one of you,
Namaste.
Namaste.
Hey, y'all.
Bye, everybody.